So, I mean, long story short, we're not in the clear here.
We're not in the clear, but But the Ezekiel Elliott example is the only one I can think of, right? There have been other times where if charges have been decided not to be, if law enforcement doesn't decide to bring charges, that often the league will not. They'll investigate it, but anyway, whatever. I'm not a lawyer, but you have to figure that for whatever reasons the charges weren't brought, that may hinder the NFL's investigation as well. Either way, we're not out of the woods yet. It's specific to that. I'm sure the NFL will be thorough in their investigation of Judkins, but it does mean that Judkins is now in camp. And so we're a fantasy football show. We're going to break down this situation. That we're not trying to make any kind of
not make light of serious accusations.
The accusations are incredibly serious, and we are not in any way trying to be dismissive of them or not sensitive to them. But we're a fantasy football show, so we got to talk about fantasy football. And so my question to you, Connor, Quinshon Judkins missed all the early stuff. He hasn't been in camp. It's not like he hasn't been able to practice. Well, he hadn't even been in the facility. He hasn't met the trainer, right? You know, like he hasn't seen all kind of the early install stuff. He hasn't done kind of the basic stuff that you do when you get to training camp. How far behind is Judkins, do you think, of Dylan Sampson? And of course, you got the veteran Jerome Ford there.
For some guys, this would be a big deal. In this scenario, it might not be. And maybe week 1, week 2, yes. But they took him in the top 40. This is someone that when he was a freshman and got to Ole Miss was the guy and was one of the most impressive freshmen we have seen in a long time at that position in college football. Obviously finished his career winning a national title at Ohio State, where he also had a massive role on a national title team after he transferred right away. So there's really no history of Quinshon Judkins ever being somewhere and just not being that dude right away. So if the Browns, there's no getting him up to speed. He's a pretty pro-ready prospect. It's just a matter of, do they want to be slow ramping him up in terms of conditioning and things like that? But if you're asking me if he's a starting running back by October, I say absolutely yes. And somebody that, it's going to sound weird to say, but he is now a value in drafts, depending how much this offense struggles. But he's that talented. Kevin Stefanski is a good run game play caller.
He is, and it's a part of his offense. He loves play action. That's a big part of what he does. Jay, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Kevin Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year.
He won it twice.
He won it twice. Yeah. A lot of people aren't aware of that, but he actually did.
I'll tell Kevin next time I see him.
Yeah, you should mention that as well. But what I will tell you, and thank him for, because his coaching was what allowed Joe Flacco to be comeback player of the year. I currently have Judkins at running back 35, 104 overall.
Sounds about right.
And I have Sampson at running back 40, 133 overall. So in essence, I have Sampson about 2 rounds behind Judkins, Jerome Ford running back 52, 163 overall. If they thought Jerome Ford's going to be a change of pace guy, but this offense is going to be Judkins and Sampson. I agree with you. I actually think Judkins might be a value here. My suspicion is, again, we don't know how much the witness is going to cooperate and everything like that, but it feels like if a suspension is coming, it might not be until next year, because these investigations take a long time, and then they rule, and they meet with the agent, the player, a lot going on. And I'm on record as saying I don't think they're going to be great, but the Browns' offense is not going to be horrific. It's going to be a competent offense that produces fantasy value. You know, whether it's Judy, whether it's Njoku, whether it's the running backs. You and I love Cedric Tillman.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not going to be great, but it's not going to be a disaster.
Yeah, healthier offensive line, and you've got 4, maybe 5 dart throws at quarterback to see if any of them can hit.
Well, but that's the point, right? Is we're all laughing because they don't have a direction franchise-wise, but they're not going to. If somebody can't throw, if one of those guys is terrible, the next guy. There's going to be at least one guy that can run an offense.
Sure.
There's going to be at least one guy that can run an offense, like Joe Flacco. Kenny Pickett started a number of games in the NFL. It's going to be a competent offense, and I believe that means there's fantasy value to be had on the Browns. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.